Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alt Kings podcast. I'm your host, Tate, with my co-host, Corbin, and today we are diving deep into a great HBAR project. It's one of the OGs, HGraph Punks, with Patches. How you doing today, Patches?
I am doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great. We're so happy to have you on. Corbin has said so many great things about you.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
I might have hyped you up I might have hyped you up a little bit.
I'll try to live up to it.
So, Patches, if you don't mind, just giving us a brief overview of yourself and everything about the HGraph Punks.
Oh, yeah, it's a small question. So about me, I've been in technologist and just like creating technology, building for about 15 years now. Started at a younger age, and it's really my path to where I've been to here has been pretty diverse, and been in a bunch of different ecosystems and verticals, which have kind of helped round out my skill set of both understanding what a user would expect and want from a product and how to implement it in a pretty efficient way from a developer standpoint. And I'm really, I don't go too far into my background, but I have done some scalable cloud architecture, a lot of systems that have had millions of users per month. And so it's really exciting building on Hedera, where there's this new Web3 paradigm and ability to do things much more securely and innovate in ways that we really haven't seen since the mobile revolution in the late 2010s, with new both data sets and new ways to interact with consumers and getting them kind of the experience they're looking for more intimately. So really excited to be working in Web3 and on the Hedera network.
Love to hear that.
We do love to hear that. Yeah, we definitely need a lot of skilled people on this platform for sure.
Yeah, this platform is not made for the weak.
No, certainly not.
So how'd you get into crypto? Like, what was the first initial thing that made you look into researching and developing with crypto?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't like this, but I personally, because I was brought in through it, understand how a really easy cultural touch point can teach crypto literacy and get a lot more people into the crypto and Web3 game. So I was introduced to crypto through Doge. I experienced it because I'm in tech. Definitely some of my developer friends were into Web3 and blockchain, and I just didn't get it. And I didn't really take too much time to try to understand it because I was very busy doing Web2 stuff. But the Doge, mindset and like that hype curve really, obviously I rode the roller coaster, and it made me curious on how all this is working. People were talking, there's an infinite Doge and all of these other tokenomics that I just have never been introduced to. So it really ignited my curiosity, and then I started digging in. I actually have a Doge miner, a Litecoin miner. So that was my first foray into crypto, and then I went over to ETH, and I was in I was really into SHIB. The Doge meme coins really got me, or like dog meme coins. And then I started getting into Binance and Binance Smart Chain. And for a while, I was over there. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew I was learning. I didn't know what for, but I invested in a bunch of different projects, got rugged a bunch of times and scammed, and just kind of found out what makes a good community manager, what is a good way to have a voice inside of this new space, and how to best be transparent and communicate, because I saw both the worst case scenarios and the best case scenarios. And then I started looking for a platform that I really wanted to start to build on. And I looked at Cardano, I looked at Ethereum, I looked at Sol, and I eventually landed on HBAR for just a whole multitude of reasons. But so that's kind of my journey to the Hedera network. Crypto.
Very cool. Very cool.
What year did you find Doge?
I think it's a little over a year ago, like January last year.
I didn't know if you're like a super early adopter of Doge. I mean, January of last year is pretty early, but I didn't know if you caught it like super early.
No, but I was really early on SHIB.
Gotcha.
I did get into SHIB before the first pump, but by that moment I had lost a lot of money already, and I learned a strategy, which was anytime a coin goes up 200%, I'd take a quarter of my earnings. And so SHIB, if had I done nothing, I would have made a lot, but I just kept pulling out and taking my profits, which, you know, it's still profits, and I have no regrets. But that was also really cool to learn from the SHIB community and how they made HBAR, not HBAR, man, how they made Shiba Swap and in their own blockchain, and just how an organic community got a dog meme coin on Coinbase before Hedera.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's a lot of learnings just through all of the different ecosystems.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, what was your inspiration for HGraph Punks?
Yeah, there's a couple NFT projects that I've just kind of loved since I've been introduced to them. One of them is Deadfellas, which I just recently was able to actually become a holder, which is really exciting. And then another is V-Punks on VeChain was another inspiration. And it was just, I wanted to understand NFTs, and I'm a learn by doing kind of person. And in full transparency, at no point did I think HGraph Punks would ever be as big as it is today, much less, you know, this all these projects that we're working on. I was just sitting on the couch and noticed that there were no big collections on Hedera. There was back in the Goatment days when we started HIP 17, which is an 18-year in the mainnet yet, which is the protocol for actual NFTs instead of the fungible token Goatment method. I was just intrigued by NFTs. I wanted to learn more, and I had already decided that Hedera is the network I want to build on. So just kind of created HGraph Punks. I figured that's the easiest way for people who are outside of crypto to understand NFTs is the Punks project. Hedera didn't have a Punks project. And the kind of point of HGraph Punks was, one, for me to learn about NFTs, and two, make a giant collection or a regular size collection that you would see on ETH on Hedera, and find all of the problems that exist on Hedera for any creator to build a regular project here and build those solutions, open source where we can, teach people where we can, and just pave the way for anyone else who wants to build a giant NFT project on Hedera, so that they don't have to stumble in the dark. Instead, they have some sort of a roadmap, and they can way more easily execute and build their NFT project. And the hope is they focus on their creation and not their creating. And we can take care of some of that. And, you know, we've done that with like our open source free minting tools. It's a desktop app with no coding required, and some other initiatives we've been doing since we started.
And that's when Turtlemoon comes into play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mind giving it? So is that basically what Turtlemoon's used for? Is everything you just said?
Well, Turtlemoon's complicated. It's complicated. We are based in the US, and we do everything as legal as possible with the clarity that there is with NFTs and crypto. And so Turtlemoon is an LLC that is the legal entity behind HGraph Punks, and then Turtlemoon Command Center is a different legal entity that's behind a lot of bigger initiatives that we're building of pieces of infrastructure for the ecosystem. One would be like the metaverse that we're building that HGraph Punks is partnered with Vicente for. So Turtlemoon is essentially, it's the tools and the actual creation and dev work behind the HGraph Punks brand. By mostly the same team, but Splash is another creator and co-founder of Turtlemoon Command Center, who does development on the Launchpad and other development initiatives.
Nice.
Very cool.
That's incredible. I love to hear that. So is Turtlemoon the actual LLC name?
Turtlemoon LLC.
That's incredible.
Turtlemoon Command Center LLC.
That's awesome.
That's a full send right there. I love it.
Yeah. Very, very unique. I love the name.
Thank you. that is all Renly's doing. They named it, and we love it.
So, what initially made you choose Hedera's network? I mean, it seems like you've been all around the whole entire ecosystem throughout not majority, but a lot of very, very popular cryptocurrencies, and you've seen a lot, you've been through a lot. Why'd you stick with Hedera?
Yeah, it is definitely not a simple choice to pick which network you're going to build on. And we've got to be here for years, so it was a very big decision. What really drove me, I'm a developer, so the developer onboarding of Hedera was way more user friendly than say Cardano. And I had researched Cardano for a couple of days, I guess let's say 36 hours of dev time trying different apps, setting up a node on a Raspberry Pi, just like kind of working with the ecosystem. And it was just in my personal development experience, pretty clunky to figure out what I was trying to do and how to execute. And then the functionality that I would hope would be there just wasn't. I'm also a JavaScript, full stack JavaScript engineer. So I like Node, I like Express, I like React. And when I got over to the Hedera network, there were things that just wildly simplified, like say like Ethereum making a smart contract for an NFT through Solidity or even the Ethereum JS is just pretty cumbersome and a lot of background knowledge. But then getting over to Hedera, the JavaScript SDK that's provided, it's kind of like 7 lines of code to create an NFT or a token,
Wow.
and really simplified a lot of the mechanics, such as like royalties. They get paid out through the network on any transaction. There's nothing to do with the smart contract you wrote, or if you miss one character and then you put it into execution, you don't lose forever based on your bad math or something. So that was really one of the big factors. And then mainly the maturity of the network and how fast its scalability. And I know, say again, Cardano, which was, I was pretty sure I was going to use Cardano, and then someone told me about HBAR. And then after 3 days of research, I just moved half of my Cardano bags to HBAR and was like, okay, this is it. But it's the opaqueness of doing a lot of the functionality, and then when is it going to come out? It wasn't really there for me at the time for Cardano, and I could see where Hedera was going, where we have gone, and all of these things like EVM being a part of the actual native network where it can talk to Ethereum virtual machines, which allows a lot of interoperability between Hedera and the biggest NFT network on the planet. Just a lot of things like that. So nuanced answer, probably too long, but in general, functionality, speed, eco-friendliness was a really, really big one. I loved that. And then the JavaScript SDKs and developer onboarding really just kind of pushed it over the top, where I could see that this was, a long-standing network. It had a lot of, buy-in from very major companies, and it's just flipping fast and can do a lot of things that we're going to need it to do.
Sure.
100%. Yeah. I mean, are you happy that you made that transfer from Cardano to HBAR?
Absolutely. Yeah. This is when anything else. I fundamentally believe that HBAR NFTs will have innovations that have not been seen in NFTs at all in the next 2 to 3 months. We finally got the infrastructure of marketplaces, of wallet signing, of all of this basic, we all minted. There's tons of minted NFTs. Now we're getting into the utility, and now we really get to dig into the network and be like, okay, what can we do that's never been done for NFTs before? And I just think the opportunity is sky high.
You're confident with 2 to 3 months?
I always say 2 to 3 months. That way people forget by the time it comes up, but it's usually right.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would say by the beginning of fall, absolutely.
Or I can just spam that sticker that you made that has a little turtle on it. It says soon. I feel like it's the most overused sticker in the HBAR community.
It is the best weapon against when, I'll tell you that.
True.
Soon.
Yeah. Try to plaster it. Yeah. So, do you mind giving us a brief history about HBAR NFTs in general? Because there's a lot of history that I don't even know about, since I hopped in around when Shadies was doing their first drop. There was tons of stuff that happened before then. Mind maybe giving us a brief history?
I mean, it also seems like he's really early to the whole entire Hedera ecosystem for NFTs because
sure.
he is the founder of HGraph Punks.
Yes.
Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really lucked out on timing because, again, we started 2 weeks before HIP 17 was actually on the mainnet. So we didn't build any of our infrastructure until there was actually NFT protocol that we could build towards, which gave us an advantage over someone like GoMint who paid for the way for a non-fungible token to even be created on the network in any way, even though it was like a fungible token and they were doing some mechanics to make it work. But at the time, that was the only way to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can give like a brief overview. It's been a long journey. My memory's not that great, but let me try here. We started in September of last year, and we're at that moment. Only really Go Mint was the way to mint anything, and even after you minted, you couldn't really see an NFT in your wallet. So it wasn't, it was the proof of concept phase for Hedera. Then we got the Exact wallet that came out, and we worked closely with the Exact team. And we minted our coin eyes, which there's 1,050 coin eyes, and we gave 1,000 away to our first 1,000 supporters. And that was one of the first, I think it was the 40th NFT ever minted on Hedera, looking at the mainnet. So we were working with Exact Wallet to figure out the best way to do minting. And we were all learning. So there was like the metadata schema isn't 100% correct. And the way that the IPFS link had the whole link instead of the CID. So it was like beginning times, rubbing sticks together, trying to make fire with people that were, just curious to see how we could take NFTs on Hedera. And that really exploded when Exact released their web interface to mint on the mainnet. It was every different NFT had a different token ID, which we've gotten away from, but back then that was the only way you could mint with Exact. And so there was a kind of this initial explosion of projects that used the Exact wallet and the minting method. It was like Teddy Bears, HBAR, HBAR Shadies, I'm pretty sure used Exact. And that was this initial renaissance of NFTs exist. You can mint NFTs, and now we can transact on the network. There was a really cool feature with the Exact Wallet where you could just share a QR code and scan it, and then it would ask if you wanted to pay the amount to get the NFT. You agreed to it, and then you would get the NFT, and the transaction would go through. And that spun a lot of cool innovation. We had a Discord bot where you could log in and validate what tokens you were holding just by scanning the QR code and accepting it, and then could read which account ID and give you the roles. So there was this Exact was kind of the plow that just had all of this innovation that all of these other developers could tie onto. It had a backend API, all of this interconnectivity that was really, really cool. We got into a point where we had, the really big Hedera community drive, which was near Christmas, where even Lehman was on the spaces, and they had 65 plus different NFT artists in one day. All did donation NFTs for auction, and all of those proceeds went to an abused women and children's shelter.
Wow.
And that was a really awesome moment. I didn't sleep more than 3 hours that week because there's just so much work. And I made different bots that would scan QR codes, and then people that were donating would put it into the escrow account. And there was all this functionality and cool tech that was going on. But the heart and soul of Hedera, I think, was really solidified there, where it's like, we're not here to just make money. That's not the point. If you focus on the technology, you focus on improving the quality of life for people, money will come. But if that's your focus, it's a whole other spinning of a culture. The culture is focused on how do we use technology to better the lives of people around us. At least that's my ethos, and I think that resonates with many. So that was a huge moment, I think, for us. Then there was the famine where the Exact API that had the QR code functionality, it did have to be custodial to make that functionality work. And so when you would sign a transaction, the private key would go up into their server and sign the transaction, and then they'd throw away the key. When that came out, I think it was in the early docs. I don't really know. I would be speculating, but a lot of people thought it was non-custodial. When they found out that it wasn't non-custodial 100%, there was some community backlash, and Exact took down that API. That left literally the entire NFT network without a wallet that could transact. And basically, if you had NFTs, they were in your wallet. You couldn't sell them. You couldn't put them in a marketplace. No one could buy NFTs anymore. No one could mint. The entire ecosystem just kind of went silent for 2 months. And in that time is when HGraph Punks and Turtlemoon and just tons of, Zeus, tons of other developers, Hashguild, Depub, Hashpack, just started digging in and saying, okay, well, we need to like reinvigorate this space. It was so fruitful and there was so much innovation, and then there was nothing, which was really weird. So all of the developers were just heads down working for 2 months. Then Hash Access came out, and they were the first platform after that where you could actually finally buy NFTs again. Then Hashpack came out, and there was a good Chrome browser where you could actually sign transactions. Then we got Zeus, and then Turtlemoon Launchpad, Hashguild, Depub. And now we're just fast forward a little bit. There's been tons of new NFT projects launched on all of those platforms. I'd say we have a pretty mature marketplace now. Hashpack is kind of the de facto NFT wallet on Hedera. And we're at a really exciting time where figuring out how to mint, the metadata schema, all of those are solidified. And now it's, you've minted your collection. How do you bring value? How do you bring utility to the holders that have invested in your project? And utility doesn't mean staking and farming. Utility means resonating with the community that has invested in you. So if you're a storyteller, it means expressing your story and bringing everyone into either a DAO that helps you write the story together, or just, again, a community aspect utility that allows people to be engaged with your project and your creativeness.
That's amazing.
It's also nice when the creators are very, very active in the chat. Like, I think Vicente just hit level like 70 in the Vicizi server or something just mad like that. It's probably like 80 or 90. I'm going to get flamed for it from him, but
Goodness. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that you can't slack on on engaging your community. And it's hard, especially when you're like heads down building. But I try to jump in there with a good morning and try to have some downtime, just chat in the gen chat. But it's definitely hard after you're trying to work because 12 hours a day trying to make it.
If you do slack, then people are just going to instantly start assuming it's a rug. And that's the worst way to go about things.
I wouldn't say instantly.
Well, I mean, not instantly, but a lot of people make that assumption.
Fair.
FUD is easy to generate and hard to kill.
Yep.
The best way that we found to kill FUD is just to kill it before it even has a chance to grow. Be as transparent and open with the community as possible. Give them a roadmap that you believe you're going to do. If you have to change something, explain why you have to change it, and just be 100% transparent. That's our method.
Yeah, and it's worked exceptionally well.
It has. Our community is very strong and forgiving, and we really love that they've supported us through so much, and that we're continuing to grow with them. And we were excited to, after this, we've dropped 3 drops of punks. We're really excited to launch some stuff that will reward our holders and our people that have believed in us coming up here shortly.
You got anything coming up for the tort holders? By chance?
Tort holder. So the Moon Shells, which is a different NFT project.
Yes.
The whole strategy on Moon Shells is, we don't promise anything. We say you get to alpha and beta test tools that Turtlemoon makes, and you get a private Discord channel.
Yep.
Mainly because we don't want to get swamped by when. But if you have a Moon Shell, then you get access to that private Discord channel where there is alpha of what's coming up and what we're working on for them. And again, we're testing out everything, and there are beta testers. So a good example is we've just updated our validator bot for Discord, and yesterday the Moon Shells were testing the validator bot to get different roles for different things based on what Moon Shell they held. So that's like a small example of what we test. But if you really want to know, you got to get into that Discord channel.
Yeah.
Very true.
You got to be one of those VIPs. For sure.
Are there any left, or have they been minted already? Like all of them?
No, there's still some left. I think about 35-ish. And again, we're we don't push the mint. You know, the purpose is of like, if you know, you know. That's kind of the whole mentality of the project.
And that's good.
And if you, yeah, we don't want more when. And I know that the holders will be happy with what we do. And that's that.
Never win, just soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you've been through a lot. You've seen a lot through this HBAR and Hedera space. Where do you see the future of HGraph Punks and Turtlemoon?
Yeah. So Turtlemoon, I really want to be, and I think we've started this journey. We want to kind of like implement ourselves as the most, you know, tech forward, innovative forward platform or tool set. You know, we're not doing the broad. We want to be able to spearhead innovation, and by doing that, that's why we have like only 13 projects on the Launchpad right now. We mint all of those tokens so that we know the metadata, we know the token IDs that are in the way that we prefer, so that we can build things like staking, like farming, all these other ancillary things that you would want around a smaller set. So another way to say that is, we think we can innovate faster in technology when we remove more variables of difference. So we want to really kind of be solidified as the innovators and pushing the tech forward on Hedera, or helping push the tech forward, because, you know, there's tons of developers doing a bunch of cool stuff, and we're by no means, you know, the only ones. But we want to do our part in creating infrastructure, helping determine the future, and building needed pieces of infrastructure to give creators who aren't tech savvy easy tools for them to execute their vision and generate a community around the vision, and not be, you know, boxed out of Web3 just because they don't know technology or development.
Sure.
And then HGraph Punks, we really want to solidify as a brand that is music centric. We have the metaverse that we've partnered with Vicente, where we are going to have live music shows, and we have some really cool stuff in the background working on that to hopefully announce in the near future. You know, all of the developments there, but HGraph Punks wants to be long-term branding of a cool NFT project that, again, does some innovative stuff that you know, might have never been done before.
Sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I love that. Because, I mean, there's not going to be people out there who are as skilled as obviously you, Patches. So
Yes.
if you're able to help them learn and develop the right way, you're only going to help this ecosystem grow even more than it ever has imagined to.
Yeah, lowering the barrier of entry is incredibly important, especially for a budding ecosystem that isn't like super duper built out yet.
Yeah.
Getting as many people on board.
Yeah.
Really helpful.
Yeah, and it kind of missed it in the question of why HBAR network or Hedera network, but the price to mint 10K NFTs is $78, not $6,000.
Yeah.
So just like basic things like that, where it's so much easier for a regular person to innovate or create, just from a fiscal perspective, a development perspective. So yeah, we hope to help creators.
And that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So, Patches, I'm going to combine two questions into one because they kind of coincide with each
Go
other.
hand in hand.
Yeah, they kind of go hand in hand. So, every time we have a guest on, I ask a question called the state of HBAR. And it's similar to how the president gives the State of the Union about, you know, is the union good? Is it not good? What can be improved? Whatever, right? So if you could do a similar thing, but from a developer's perspective on HBAR itself, its user friendliness, how has it been treating you, reliability, you know, things like that. And then also on top of that, what are your thoughts on the current state of the market post Luna being basically rugged?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I'll do the state of HBAR, and this is just the network in general, not NFTs.
It could also be NFTs.
Just
as well.
an overall overview of how you feel about the whole entire network.
Yeah, because you've already mentioned a lot about it before, but
yeah,
you know, a little more in depth would be good.
Yeah. So I am extremely bullish on Hedera. I invite a that's not the word. I am not dissuaded by the bear market that we seemingly might be in. I actually think that allows to suck a lot of air out of the room of the noise so that developers and people building have more focus and time to build out on this amazing network instead of maybe being a little bit more distracted with a bunch of new users coming in. I think this is the time where Hedera can focus on, again, building out these infrastructures that are expected on other networks, such as DeFi, such as marketplaces, DEXs, and we can be ready for the opportunity that will come. And so the things that are kind of crazy with Hedera is just, again, that native EVM and smart contract execution. That to me is the I don't know, golden egg. That's a horrible analogy. It's a very good fundamental thing that no other blockchain, I think, has at the same efficiency level as Hedera does. So, the biggest problem is, how do you get developers on your network? The biggest network that has developers is Ethereum. So with native EVM and smart contract execution, being able to talk to Hedera token service through Solidity, you can go to an engineer on Ethereum and say, without changing the code that you write, and with just learning some stuff from HTS, you can port your contracts or your tokens using Hashport over to HBAR, write the same code, and then execute on the network for less gas and way more efficient time, uptime, and everything that Hedera is. That becomes way more prevalent and way more of a persuasive argument when you kind of rope in all the HIPs that just went into effect. One, I think it was, I'm going to get the numbers wrong, so I'm not even going to try, but it was in the 400s, but it allows Ethereum bit transactions to get wrapped with Hedera to be executed on the Hedera net through our EVMs. So another way to say that is you execute a transaction in MetaMask, but it uses the gas fees from the Hedera network to execute on the Hedera EVM. That wildly changes Ethereum's kind of basis of understanding of how you transact. And so that's, that just hit the mainnet, I think, a week ago. And there's tons of these really cool, innovative things that blur the line between, what you do on other networks and what you can do here that allow you to get all the benefits without all the friction of changing the development tools and languages that you're used to. So I'm really, really bullish on HBAR. The amount of innovation that we can do just from the Hedera network, I think, is really, really high. Like natively being able to trade NFTs P2P, that's like just built into the network. And we take that, people were doing that first back in the exact days before we had a marketplace. And that's just like unheard of on tons of other blockchains. So that's just like a brief example of how advanced the network is. And when we build out this infrastructure to take full advantage, like right now, I think we're taking probably, like, if I were to guess, 15 to 20% advantage of the network. Now that we have this infrastructure, we can take a 50% advantage of all the cool intricacies of Hedera. The next time that we get an opportunity for Sol or ETH, engineers or investors to look at Hedera and see the benefits, if we have done our job right and we get these pieces of technology in place, I think it can just kind of exponentially grow overnight and get an insane amount of adoption. We just, as developers, have to put our heads down and dig into innovating and building some cool shit. Pardon me. Yeah. Some cool stuff on the network, and then and then when we have that, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So when we have that luck and get just exponential adoption curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
Because it seems like HBAR kind of has a bit of a, if you call it necessarily a problem, but a bit of an issue with exposure. Just not a lot of people know about it still, even with all this innovation, even with all the news about it, even with all the partnerships, everybody on the governing council. It still feels like not a lot of people know about it.
Are in the loop
about it. Yeah. You would think more people would be with all the cool stuff happening, but
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't had its giant moment in the sun yet, which again, I'm thankful for because I don't think the HBAR NFT community, like again, we don't have DEXs, we don't have this. If you came from Sol, you'd be like, oh, well, this network's not mature because it doesn't have these fundamental points of contact that you'd expect.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad that hasn't happened yet. And I do believe that Hedera will be used by, say, I'm an Ethereum project and I want to build a play to earn game. There's no reason why you couldn't have an Ethereum project that then has a play to earn game using the Hedera mainnet that interacts with your Ethereum project. So, and then like you don't even need to tell your holders, hey, we used Hedera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of ability for Hedera to be the functional, not known network that a bunch of ancillary blockchains use to get the carbon neutral, to get the or carbon negative, and get the speed and the ease of gas and all of these other things without having to, again, adopt a whole new platform or move everything they've already built, but instead use it as a way to kind of shortcut to the best case scenario.
Yeah.
It just gives you more time to just accumulate.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's more time to accumulate and then also appreciate the community that already exists.
Yeah.
Because like I said to Bones when we did his interview way like forever ago, it feels like it feels like a small village. Like I've only known everybody for probably less than a year, maybe a year at this point. But like it feels like I've known everybody like forever.
Like a family.
Yeah, we're like family. It's the Fast and Furious. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do. I do enjoy the community in Hedera. It's like kind of one of the best features. It's just not, I'm in some ETH projects, I'm in some Sol projects, and it is easier when it's smaller. But I still just think that in general, it's way more inviting and open and just kind, which is rare in the internet.
Absolutely,
and secure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, majority of people at the moment, unfortunately, when they think of fast transaction times for NFTs, they just instantly assume Sol. A majority don't realize that Sol's network goes down probably at least once or twice a month, minimum.
Yeah.
And it goes offline for a good amount of time. When I say good amount of time, I mean hours. But they just put those things past it, and Sol's networks has grown tremendously just because of those low fees. And I mean, once people just really open their eyes up to networks like Hedera's and XRP's, and they realize, oh wait, you can get these transaction times that are 1, instantaneous, 2, very cheap, and 3, very secure, they're not going to look back.
Correct.
Everybody's going to migrate.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time, and it's a matter of adoption, and it's really, at the end of the day, it's a matter of just promoting.
Yeah.
And getting that exposure where the exposure is needed. And that is when the alt kings come into play.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time for Hedera for sure.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. What are your thoughts on the current state of the market after that Luna crash?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not a rug. It was, no one can really plan for like, was it 3 billion in volume in hours to both like buy one side of a ballast and then sell it off and then buy the other side of the ballast and then sell it. There's a purposeful seesaw effect to destabilize a stable coin. And I'm not going to put on a conspiracy hat and try to speculate who did what. But it definitely wasn't great for the crypto community in general. It was a strange, I was looking at the order book and it was just wild to watch when it was happening. It was a really strange event, but it's the ebb and flow of a crypto market that's unregulated. Nothing that was done, I don't think, is illegal. There's no regulation to say you can't do that. So it's kind of just the price of having a decentralized, unregulated market. And I fundamentally believe it will recover. It really is. It's hard to just, see all the stories of people who've lost, millions, thousands, just great deals of money in that Luna crash. So definitely feel for them. It's never great to see that many people lose out on an investment so quickly, but Crypto will recover. I'm still bullish on this as being the digital way that we transact value over the globe.
Yeah.
It's just, it's definitely not a straight line. There's a lot of bumps in the road, and that was just a big bump that we hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you personally think that people should also be worried about other algorithmic based stablecoins as well, like on Tron and other ecosystems?
I mean, I am not a financial advisor, so I'm gonna put that out there.
It's not financial advice.
Yes, we are all not financial advisors.
Correct.
I would take pause as to investing into a stable coin that has the same algorithmic method as one that just crashed billions of dollars in hours. Yeah, I would be cautious. I mean, even USDC came off its peg like 3%. That had me pumping. I was like, oh God. If USDC goes out and that's backed by like USD,
yeah,
like,
and BlackRock of all people.
Yeah, I know there's like a lot of digging that you can do. I haven't done my research, so I'm not going to speculate. But I would definitely be cautious of algorithmic stablecoins until there's a good post-mortem of what happened, and those stablecoins have implemented some mitigation strategy to not allow that to happen to them.
Fun fact about the Luna team. Their actual legal team actually just resigned today.
Bullish.
Bullish.
Yeah, that's not great.
Bullish. He said bullish. Anyways, off of the Luna banter. What's been the biggest sell of one of your HGraph Punks today?
Do
you know?
So our biggest sell was 100K HBAR.
Wow.
That was for a glitch punk. So we started. We really didn't. Again, we're focused on the technology and we're focused on the creating tools. So the first 1,050 minted NFTs we gave away to our early holders, or tried to. It's the best way to say that, because if you didn't claim it, it's hard to give it to you. But in that was 50 of glitch punks, and the idea was. The story, which I don't think we really say too much, is that like the punk is glitching out of the Hedera sphere and becoming alive. And so the glitches are different states of a punk just kind of like all messed up. And the one that sold was, I think, like glitch number 2. I'm unsure which one it was, but yeah, it was just during a really, really cool time where people were interested in our project, and the glitch punks do get some special rewards and functionality first. So they're going to be the first ones that are able to farm, and they'll be able to farm organized punks. And so someone went all in and made a glitch punk on secondary, and that was really huge day, and gave us a lot of motivation on the team to say, people trust us, people are definitely bullish on our project, and we need to make sure we're heads down on delivering. And I've done 12 to 18-hour days for the last 6 months, and I'm just getting out of that habit. So it's definitely doing everything we can to make sure we're here for a long time. And then again, we're building stuff for other creators to create.
Yeah, that's incredible, Patches. Yeah, I see you in all kinds of different chats all the time. That your work ethic is solid, my dude.
Patches, all of your work will pay off very, very soon, my friend. I can assure you that. And it already has.
It already has. HGraph
yes.
Punks is massive.
But it's going to pay off tenfolds very soon.
Especially once everybody's using his tools.
Yes, exactly.
Him and his team's tools, I should say.
The free tools that anyone can use.
Correct.
The 1% of that 100K sold went straight into donations, correct? Or to charities? To charities, I meant.
No, so 1% of all income of HGraph Punks.
Oh wow!
So we didn't get the 100% of the. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So anytime we mint, then 1% of that transaction. But secondary market, it's the total of whatever we get, 1% of that. So 1% of all income.
Makes sense. Yeah, gotcha.
Sure.
Yeah, we've been able to donate. We auctioned off one of our glitch punks. And we donated $22,000 to Save the Children.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, it's incredible.
It was a huge moment, for the whole team, because it's just like there's a lot of impact that you want to make in the world, and at no point did I ever think I'd be able to help donate $22,000 to a cause we really care about.
Yeah.
And that was, again, just like a really active community, a lot of people caring and wanting to make a positive impact in those. So that was a really cool moment. And then we had another vote of our holders. I guess it was just in our Discord. It wasn't just the holders. And we donated, I think, around $800 to the Ukraine Relief Fund. When they put up a HBAR address, we donated directly to Ukraine. And that was passed by like 97% of our community. So really proud to have that, and really glad that we have an ability to steadily always give back. And I have my eye on trying to get back to another big charity event, because it's been too long. We've been heads down building stuff, but need to make sure that we're giving back to some people that really need it in the world as well.
That's amazing. I love that you guys give back. And whenever I see that in any NFT project, it just shows that they truly care about what they're doing. And they're not only in it just for the money, they're in it to help any and everybody around them. But our last question of the night would be, we saw that you were featured on one of CryptoMason's most popular NFT videos. What were your thoughts whenever you saw that?
Which one? I know he's talked about us a couple times.
It was the one whenever he brought up the NFTs that he's watching out for. It was one of the most recent NFT updates when he was just talking about Hedera NFTs, and he mentioned, obviously, HGraph Punks.
Yeah, no, it's really, really awesome. CryptoMason, we've been watching him since we got into Hedera. He's got really good videos, really good information. He's a Moonshell holder, which is really cool as well. And it was nice to see him saying that he was bullish on HGraph Punks. And he was talking about trying to give away an NFT when he hits 20,000, and Renly took a shot and was like, "Hey, we'll donate a Cornized Punk if you'd want," and he's down. So we're really excited to give away a Cornized Punk for when he hits 20,000, and promote and work with CryptoMason any way we can. He's again a great influencer for Hedera, and we've been watching his stuff for him.
That's amazing. Yep. If there's anything else you'd love to add to this, Patches, it'd be more than appreciated. But we appreciate your time once again.
Just to put an end cap on it, again, the next 6 months of Hedera Innovation is going to be blazingly fast. The amount of opportunity we have as a network is as high as I think it can ever be. And we just have, all the developers on the network just have, a couple months to build out the infrastructure we would like to see, and to point, more broadly, point the technology and the way that Web3 goes in the direction we would like to see as a community, and have an impact on the technology that will be how people fundamentally share and exchange data and interactions in the future. And so it's not just, again, it's not a money-making opportunity, but it's a way to impact how humans interact with each other in the future. And we can fix all the problems of Web 2 if we really focus on fundamentally building them into the system so they can't happen again. Yeah. And so that's where my mind's at. And I think it's going to be really amazing to see how Hedera enables, just people broadly to easily use this Web3 architecture and get the benefits of what Web3 can be.
Without a doubt. Whenever you said blazing fast, the first thing that came to mind was, don't you know, pump it up. You gotta pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up.
Song.
I did not know that song.
Corbin will probably add it.
Yeah. I'll add it in somewhere if it's not copyrighted.
But Patches, thank you once again for everything, and we truly can't wait to see the wonders that you do with Hedera and HBAR's community, because
and the shenanigans that happen in the Tort Fort. I am also a Moonshell holder.
Incredible.
Awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me on. This was great.
Well, with that being said, we'll be providing all of Patch's information to HGraph Punks and Turtlemoon down in the description down below.
Yep.
And we appreciate every single one of you watching. This has been the Alt Kings podcast, and we will see you next episode. Puny.
Oh, wow.
Puny.
Barely hit it.
I was like,
Smidge.
bad. Thanks, Patches.
Thank you, Patches, again
Sure.
so much.
Don't know what happened there, but
We just threw our
sounds bad.
hats at the camera. That's our closer for every single podcast.